a lot of different derivatives came off and changed hands. To talk more about this, let's bring Christian Fromhertz, CEO of Tribeca Trade Group, into the conversation. And Christian, great to have you with us. Happy Friday. What a week it has been. Do you think that this triple witching, earlier today, the volume was 400% above the 20-day moving average. Do you think that this could be the moment that some of the bulls are waiting for, a little bit of a turnaround in trend?
Hey, Abigail, great to be here. Well, I mean, always on quadruple witching, there's always outsized volumes. They're always one of the biggest volume days of the year. So it's one of those things. I'm not gonna make a prediction based on that, but I think it's something definitely to keep an eye on, as well as a number of other factors. Could it cause a little bit of a short-term bounce? I mean, it's definitely possible going into next week, but I think the bounces that we've seen so far this year have been met with pretty heavy selling resistance. So, of course, the options expiration is just one of those mechanisms. And I think from a single stock standpoint, we're still seeing some unwinding going on there. So it's going to be a tug of war for a little while. This is also still a very weak seasonal time of the year. But I think, really the word to keep in mind here is patience. And you might start to see some opportunities as we start to kind of get through those summer months of the weak seasonality until we get into the fall, where things kind of might shape up a little bit better. So that's really what I'm kind of looking for, in terms of once we kind of get out of this this particular month.
Well, one of those other influencing factors, of course, is oil, energy. It's basically been a headwind for stocks as it has gone higher, higher, higher up until today and this week, now down about 10% on the week. This is the dollar is up for yet another week. We're seeing that sector really unwind too. Bring this into the conversation and specifically, weighing on the Dow, the S&P 500, and that NASDAQ outperforming.
Yeah, I mean, considering inflation is the top concern right now, we know that, that's the top concern of everybody and the Fed who's driving this market, right? I mean, I think actually, unless you're an energy bull right now, you want to actually start to see these things come in. So I view it as a very good sign, not only with crude, but with nat gas. And then if you look at the agriculture space too, that's starting to kind of weaken as well, along with copper, which looks pretty weak too. So these things could be indicating that, possibly, inflation may be topping. And, of course, we won't get another data point till the end of the month, which is the PCE deflator. But I think they're starting to move in the right direction.
Well, that would certainly be a breath of fresh air and potentially a tailwind for risk assets. Speaking of risk assets, China Tech still going strong. You like the space, technically at least for a little while. Talk to us about what you see there and your trade.
Yeah, sure. So, there's some nice outperformance with the Chinese internets over the U.S. internets. And specifically, if you look at the chart of the KWEB ETF over the last couple of years, this is the first time it's actually gotten over the 100-day moving average since March of 2021. And remember, this is one of the first groups that went down. So could it be one of the first groups that start to kind of recover? That's something that I'm looking for, and I like the relative strength that we're seeing there over the last month. And I like the KWEB, which is the China Internet ETF. I like the July 33 calls for about 150. I think that's a really easy trade to look for this to check back up into the 200-day moving average.
Well, I think that you and other people are thinking about that as well. Is this some sort of bottom for that sector, and what could it mean for the U.S.? And Christian, it's nice to see people behind you in your office, finally, after about 2 years. Christian Fromhertz, CEO of Tribeca Trade Group, thanks for joining us for Options Insight. And from New York, this is Bloomberg.